Ta'ala, blessing and salutation upon our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his entire household, his companions, and all those that are struggling until the day of resurrection. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, the theme of today's khutbah, the theme of today's sermon is purification of the soul and its reformation. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, I'm advising you and myself to fear Allah Azza wa Jalla, to be conscious of Allah Azza wa Jalla, and to call ourselves to account. To call ourselves to account. Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned in the Quran, He said, O ye who believe, fear Allah, and let each and every nafs, every soul, every person look at what he or she has sent forth for his or her tomorrow. He also mentioned, he said, fear Allah, for indeed Allah is acquainted with what you do. Allah has the full knowledge of your action. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, our nafs, our soul is inclined to evil and desires. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah mentioned in the Quran, He said that as for those who fear their position of standing before Allah Azza wa Jalla and prevented their soul from desire, indeed Jannah, paradise, is their final and everlasting destination. Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned in the Quran also regarding those who are allowing their soul, their nafs, to drive them to destruction, allowing their soul to dictate for them. Allah mentioned regarding them that أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Can't you consider those who allow their ilah, their Lord, to be their soul, their desire? وَأَضَلَّهُ اللَّهُ عَلَىٰ عِلْمٍ. And Allah sent them astray. عَلَىٰ عِلْمٍ, based on knowledge, meaning based on them having the knowledge of their action that what they are doing now is evil, but they still allow their nafs, their soul, to dictate for them, to drive them from the path of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Since they choose to be in that path, then وَخَتَمَ عَلَىٰ سَمْعِهِ وَقَلْبِهِ, Allah now seal their hearing and their hearts in a way that nothing will penetrate into the mind again. Then Allah now put a veil in their eyes. Then Allah mentioned that towards the end of it, فَمَنْ يَهْدِيهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ اللَّهِ, who will show those kind of people guidance beside Allah? Nobody. Meaning, if you are allowing your soul to dictate for you, if you are allowing your soul to direct you to another path beside the path of Allah Azza wa Jalla, it means you've not purified your soul. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, there are three enemies that are fighting us every single day, night and day, to ensure whether they avert us or hinder us from the path, the mercy, and the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jalla. What are these enemies? One of them has been discussed in our previous khutbah. One of them, mother, is a shaitan. That is why Allah warned us in many places in the Quran that inna shaitan lakum adu. Shaitan is an enemy to you. فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. You should treat him as an enemy. Because shaitan إِنَّمَا يَدْعُو حِزْبَهُ لِيَكُونُوا مِنْ أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ is inviting you to be his companion in the hellfire. That is shaitan for you. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us, to overpower us against the shaitan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to not give victory to shaitan against us. Amen. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, the second enemy, the second of the enemies is mother, human being. That is mother is and a mother is human being. It can be your relative, it can be your close relative, and it can be someone whom you adore. Can be your close relative. Allah mentioned in the Quran, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن من أزواجكم وأولادكم عدوا لكم فاحذروه. Allah mentioned in the Quran that part of your families, inna min azwajikum, part of your wives and your children are your enemies. Inna min azwajikum awladikum aduwwan lakum fahdharuhum. If you realize that there are people who are hindering you from the path of Allah Azza wa Jalla, then you should know how you will deal with them. Make sure, mother, you block them. Don't allow anyone to disconnect your relationship with Allah Azza wa Jalla, whoever the person is, and no matter the love you have for the person. Because every one of us is mother is traveling, and our nafs is a mountain in front of us which we must climb to the success. And also, your enemy can be someone whom you adore, someone you love the most, your close mother, your close friends. People like that, Allah says, Al-akhillau yawma'idhin ba'duhum li ba'din aduwwun illa al-muttaqun. That al-khulla, close friends, on that day, part of them will be enemy to the other. Part of them will be enemies to one another, except those who connect for the sake of Allah based on piety. Those are the ones that their friendship in this world will benefit them on the day of resurrection. Then, the thought of the enemy is your own self, your own soul, your own self. Shaitan is your enemy. Other human being, your enemy. Then also your own nafs, the one that is inside you, which you sleep with, is also part of your enemy. They are the one that Allah said, Inna nafsa la ammaratun bisu. Your soul is inclined to evil and desires, except those that Allah show them, or those that Allah is merciful to them, meaning show them guidance. We ask Allah to count us among those. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, by default, by inclination, human being is known with stinginess. If you are stingy, you have not purified your soul. Allah mentioned in the Quran, قُلْ لَوْ أَنْتُمْ تَمْلِكُونَ خَزَائِنَ رَحْمَةِ رَبِّي إِذًا لَأَمْسَكْتُمْ خَشْيَةَ الْإِنفَاقِ وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ قَتُورًا. Allah told the Prophet addressing his people, had it been you possess the key or the keys to the treasure of Allah Azza wa Jalla, you will not give anybody. You will withhold. Even the air that you are taking in, you will pay for it. Everything, you will pay for it. You will withhold. لماذا؟ لَأَمْسَكْتُمْ خَشْيَةَ الْإِنفَاقِ, because of ماذا؟ خَشْيَةَ الْإِنفَاقِ, because of the fear of spending. You will not spend. وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ قَتُورًا, because by nature, by inclination, human being is known with miserliness, stinginess. That is why, if you have not purified yourself, if you have not purified or removed that trait of stinginess from you and replacing it with generosity, then it means up till now you've not purified your soul. And up till now, you don't have the total belief in Allah Azza wa Jalla regarding to his statement that Yabna Adam unfik alayh. Oh, the son of Adam, spend, I will spend on you. It means you don't have that belief. And the Prophet ﷺ has took an oath by Allah that mother, he said that ma naqasa malun min sadaqah, the money you spend will never decrease your wealth. If you give, you should know that Allah will give you a return of it. Sometimes when you give, you look at it, something has been reduced from my wealth. Wallahi, nothing reduced from your wealth. Allah replace it for you. And Allah, as a result of you spending it, all your generosity, Allah will now protect you from one turmoil, tribulation, trials that has been decreed to afflict you. Allah will now protect you from that as a result of your generosity. For that, وَمَنْ يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Whoever is protected from stinginess, that person is among the successful one. May Allah count us among those. Amen. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, anytime we commit atrocity, immoralities, or will disobey Allah Azza wa Jalla. By the nature, by how human being is created, you will know that yes, you are in a part of this of mother destruction, or you are at detriment already. You will know if you are unjust, your mind will tell you. You will know anytime you disobey Allah, you know that this is an act of disobedience. بل الإنسان على نفسه بصيرة. Regarding to your nafs, you are a witness. You know everything. وَلَوْ أَلْقَى مَعَاذِيرًا. Even if you try to send forth excuse, to give an excuse. You are not entitled to something, but you will stand arguing, debating, and you know yourself in your mind that I'm not entitled to this. But you still waste people's time and waste your own time and cause yourself the wrath and destruction of Allah Azza wa Jalla. بل الإنسان على نفسه بصيرة ولو ألقى معاذيرا. If you are a wicked person, you know you are wicked. If you are a righteous person, you know you are righteous. Anytime you are whoever in fact you know yourself more than anybody. But Allah knows you more than yourself. You can hide from people, but you can't hide from Allah. يومئذ تعرضون لا تخفى منكم خافية. Allah will expose everybody on the day of resurrection. Make sure your connection with Allah is clean. Make sure your relationship with people is good. Don't go to Allah Azza wa Jalla with the right of people upon you. In the name of the love you have for this world, your connection in this world, in the name of mother position of authority. The Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Ithm, you see sin? Ma haka fi nafsik. It is something which is going around in your mind, which is going around in your soul, in your nafs. Anytime you are committing sin, your heart will tell, your mind will tell that this what I'm doing now is wrong. You are not entitled to this position. You are not the one being mother who deserve that position of authority or seat. You know it, but you still withstand that you want to be there. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned in one of his statements, إنكم لتحرصون على الإمارة وستكون ندامة يوم القيامة. You will be keen to position of authority, and wallahi on the day of resurrection you are going to regret about it. You don't know the kind of burden you've taken upon yourself. Because of position of authority, you don't mind even if everybody will die. Bloodshed and so many things. لزوال الدنيا أهون على الله من دم امرئ مسلم. For the world to collapse is more easier in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jalla than taking a blood of a Muslim, one single person. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, al-ithmu ma haka fi nafsik. Sin is something which is going around in your mind. وَكَرِهْتَ أَنْ يَطَّلِعَ عَلَيْهِ النَّاسِ. And you don't want people to know about it. Anything you see yourself hiding from it, it is sin. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam. Anytime you are hiding, you don't want people to see what you are doing. It is not the right thing you are doing. You are doing the mother something evil. Except mother with things that has to do with righteous action that Allah don't want you to show. But in your mind, even if you try to hide yourself and people see you doing it, you will still be happy in your mind. But if it's sin, if you hide and someone get to know your secret, you will not be happy about it. You will feel humiliated, and so many. For that, the way to purify our nafs, the way to purify our nafs is for us the way to get rid of evil of the soul is to purify it, to take care of the nafs, to treat the nafs. Allah Azza wa Jalla took the longest truth, the longest oath in the Quran, in Surah Al-Shams. That is the longest oath we have in the Quran. He said that by the Shams, by the sun, Allah took an oath. He took an oath by the sun, and he took an oath by its brightness. He took an oath by the moon. He took an oath. وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا جَلَّاهَا. He took an oath by the day. He took an oath by the night. He also took an oath by the heavens and the one who constructed He took an oath by the earth and the one who spread it. He now said, "Wa nafsin," by the soul, that is the nafs in you. Allah took an oath by it. By the nafs and the one who fashioned it and made it subject to wickedness and subject to evil. He said that قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا, successful indeed is the one who purifies it. And the losers are those who neglected their soul, allowing their soul to dictate for them, who corrupt it. For that, if you want to be among the successful one, purify your soul. Make sure your connection with Allah Azza wa Jalla is good. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, if we look at it, the peak and the apex of Islam is struggling in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jalla, that is al-jihad. Fighting in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jalla, and it is also the greatest obligation in Islam. But the greatest of it also, after it also, is greater because based on the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, وَذِرْوَةُ سَنَامِهِ al-jihad. The peak, the apex of Islam is mother fighting or struggling, waging a war in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jalla. But there is a statement, or let me say, وَأَعْظَمُ الْجِهَادِ, the greatest of jihad, waging against mother, that is struggling in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jalla, is mujahadatun nafs, waging a war against or waging your own nafs, to ensuring that you defeat your own nafs. It is not easy to mother to win or to wage a war against your nafs. There is this statement which is made, the statement of one of our righteous predecessors, which was attributed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The statement is that when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam arrived from the battle of Tabuk, he now addressed, based on the statement that he now addressed his companions, that عُدْنَا مِنَ الْجِهَادِ الْأَصْغَرِ إِلَى الْجِهَادِ الْأَكْبَرِ, that we returned from the major jihad, the mightier jihad, to the we returned from the minor jihad to the major jihad. Then the companions now asked the Prophet ﷺ, وَمَا الْجِهَادُ الْأَكْبَرُ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ, what is the mightier or the greatest jihad, O you the messenger of Allah Azza wa Jalla? He now said, jihadun nafs, the jihad that you wage against your own nafs. This is a statement. This statement, it is a fabrication to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but the meaning is rooted by the text in the Quran and the Hadith. The person who made the statement is trying to place a comparison between jihadul nafs and jihadul kuffar, the war that you wage against your own nafs and the war that you wage against the disbelievers. As for the war that you wage against your own nafs, it is fardu madha, fardu ayn. It is obligatory upon each and every person, male or female, to wage or to defeat his nafs. Because an-nafsu ammaratun bisu, it is inclined to evil and desire. Most of the time your heart will not tell you to do the right thing. But when you try to block it, or when you try to deviate or disobey your own nafs and do the right thing, you've defeated your nafs. And this is the greater jihad that someone can do. For that, it is compulsory on each and every male and female, young or old, to wage war against his nafs. As for the war that we wage against the disbelievers, it is fardu kifaya, it is communal. It is, if some Muslims take part, if some Muslims come out and wage that war against the disbelievers, then it's obligatory upon the rest is dropped. Because فَمَا كَانَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ لِيَنْفِرُوا كَافَّةً, some should go and defend Islam while some should remain behind. Meaning it is not compulsory on everybody but everybody must wage war against his nafs. Meaning, in this regard, the war that you wage against your nafs is greater. Secondly, why the reason why the war that you wage against your nafs is greater is because the war that you wage against your nafs. Often, the reason is the war or the battle or the war that you wage against the disbelievers is either you win or you lose. If you win in the sight of Allah, you are a winner. If you lose in the sight of Allah, you are a winner. Because both of them, there is reward attached to it. فَلْيُقَاتِلْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ الَّذِينَ يَشْرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا بِالْآخِرَةِ وَمَنْ يُقَاتِلْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ فَيُقْتَلْ أَوْ يَغْلِبْ فَسَوْفَ نُؤْتِيهِ أَجْرًا عَظِيمًا. Allah said, you should fight in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jalla. وَمَنْ يُقَاتِلْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, and whoever fought in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jalla, فَيُقْتَلْ, and the person is defeated, and the person is killed, أَوْ يَغْلِبْ, or the person is defeated, فَسَوْفَ نُؤْتِيهِ أَجْرًا عَظِيمًا. We are going to give a mighty reward to the person. Whether you die or you are alive, Allah will give you, a mighty reward. But as for the nafs, you must win it. There is no option of either you lose it or you win it. In that one, option is there. As for the nafs, there is no option. You must win it. If you win it, alhamdulillah, successful for you indeed. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Successful indeed those who purify it. You purify it and you will be among the successful one in this world and on the day of resurrection. But if you lose, three things is going to happen to you. صَغَارٌ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَعَذَابٌ فِي الْقَبْرِ وَعَذَابٌ فِي الْآخِرَةِ. Humiliation in this world, punishment in the grave, and punishment greater one on the day of resurrection. Can you see? The war that you wage against your nafs is greater and mightier in the sight of Allah and mightier than the war that you wage against the disbelievers. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, take note of that. Brothers and sisters in Islam, we must purify our nafs. Because by nature, by inclination, human being is created ignorant and unjust. Yes. Created unjust, volumen jahuda. Allah mentioned, إِنَّهُ كَانَ ظَلُومًا جَهُودًا وَحَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانِ إِنَّهُ كَانَ ظَلُومًا جَهُودًا. When Allah is talking about amana, trust, He said that the amana was given to the heavens and the earth. But both of them, look at the kind of the intensity of it. They denounced, they rejected, they decided not to accept that amana for human being because of its ignorance and unjust. He said that he's ready to take that burden upon himself. Allah said, "Innahu kana zaluman jahula," because human being is volume, is unjust, jahul, and is ignorant. Yes, you know that by default, human being is known with being unjust. That is why Allah mentioned in the hadith of Ilahi, He said that mother, إِنِّي حَرَّمْتُ الظُّلْمَ عَلَى نَفْسِي وَجَعَلْتُهُ بَيْنَكُمْ مُحَرَّمًا. We must purify our nafs and replace our soul with mother just, meaning we must replace the unjust traits with just. Allah said that mother, He has made injustice prohibited upon Himself. Likewise, it is haram amongst you to be unjust to yourselves. As for mother, the Prophet ﷺ also mentioned that you see oppression on injustice is darkness for a person, or for a person who is unjust on the day of resurrection. Is darkness upon darkness. You are in the darkness of your sin. darkness of injustice. Also, by saying human being mother is ignorant, yes, Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned in the Quran, وَاللَّهُ أَخْرَجَكُم مِّن بُطُونِ أُمَّهَاتِكُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ شَيْئًا. Allah said, I brought you from the womb of your mother, you knew nothing. You are ignorant. You don't know anything. Then Allah now gave you the means of mother replacing that ignorance with knowledge. وَجَعَلَ لَكُمُ السَّمْعَ وَالْأَبْصَارَ وَالْأَفْئِدَةَ. He now gave you as-sam', the hearing. He now gave you the sight, the vision. Then he now gave you the heart that you can understand. These are means which you can use to replace the trait of ignorance with knowledge. For that, by nafs, the soul is by default ignorant and unjust. We must purify our nafs and replace it with mother, just with fairness, just and as well knowledge. Also, my dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, by default, human being is known to be arrogant, to have envy, prone to mother, being angry, greed, and avarice. Bukhl, also stinginess by it. We must replace all these things with mother, humbleness, generosity, being happy with ourselves, also noble morals, and also remembering of death. I'm escaping some things because I can see that time is going. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, the wise person, the smartest among people, is the one who calls himself to account and work for the afterlife. Work, struggling for what he will meet on the day of resurrection. But you see, the heedless person is the one who follows his desire, allowing his nafs to dictate for him, and he always wished for the best from Allah. He did nothing. But inna Allah ghafurur rahim. Allah is forgiving. Am I not a Muslim? I will enter Jannah. And he's persisting in the disobedience of Allah, in oppressing people, in the right of people, and saying, Allah, inna Allah ghafurur rahim. Allah is al-ghafur ar-rahim. Yes, of course, Allah is al-ghafur, is forgiving and he's merciful to those that deserve that mercy, not to those that don't deserve it. You that is even saying, claiming that Allah, and you persist doing the wrong thing, and you know that you are doing the wrong thing, you have that kind of mindset saying all these things, only Allah knows if you qualify with that, because the Prophet said that Allah will forgive the shortcomings of my ummah except those that disobey Allah Azza wa Jalla in public. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, call yourself to account before you be accountable for on your action. Weigh your action before it will be weighed on the day of resurrection. The day that Allah will expose every sin that the person has committed in the world. One of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, whose name is Umar ibn al-Khattab. Umar ibn al-Khattab, calling himself to account. One day he went to a garden, isolating himself in that place. Anas bin Malik was following his footsteps to know what is the leader of the believer going to do. What is wrong that this man is just walking alone? This is a leader like a president. I don't think there's a president that can walk alone without any escort today. This is a leader of the believer on himself. He walked alone, nobody is with him. Was just going to a garden. Anas bin Malik following him, following his footsteps. Why said now I don't know that Anas bin Malik was following him. He will hide in a way that said now Umar will not know that someone is behind him. Then when he went, he isolated himself. He started calling himself to account. He said, Ya Umar. He said, Mother, Ya Amir al-Mu'minin. He said, Umar, Amir al-Mu'minin. He's addressing himself. He said, Umar, the leader of the faithful. Bakhin, kind. Umar, the leader of the believer, Wallahi, by Allah, O you the son of Al-Khattab, لَتَتَّقِيَنَّ اللَّهِ, you must fear Allah Azza wa Jalla, أَوْ لَيُعَذِّبَنَّكَ اللَّهِ, or Wallahi, Allah will punish you. This is Sayyidina Umar, whom the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that if there is any prophet after me, if had it been there will be a prophet after me, Sayyidina Umar would have been in the best position to be appointed as a prophet. This is Sayyidina Umar bin al-Khattab, whom when he take a path, Shaitan change that Shaitan does not follow that path. This is Sayyidina Umar bin al-Khattab, who was giving a testimony that he is going to be among the dwellers of Jannah. Since from this world, he has that certificate. But still, in his leadership, he's calling himself to account. Lidhalik, my dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, fear Allah Azza wa Jalla and know that you are going to meet Allah Azza wa Jalla. Nobody, there is no place of refuge. Every person must meet with Allah and will account for his deed for or against his action. Lidhalik, my dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, inshallah, I will end my khutbah by giving you 4 advice. 1, you must call yourself to account, muhasabatun nafs. 2, you must tell your nafs no whenever it's directing you to a wrong path. And you must be patient in staying away from haram, and you must also be patient in keeping up with halal. We ask Allah to accept it from us and to count us among those who are guided and those whom He is merciful with. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us security in this country and the rest of the countries across the globe. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها فنعم المولى ونعم النصير. اللهم ارزقنا قبل الموت توبة وارزقنا عند الموت شهادة وارزقنا بعد الموت جنة. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. اللهم اغفر لجميع موتى المسلمين الذين شهدوا لك بالوحدانية ولنبيك بالرسالة وماتوا على ذلك. اللهم اجعل قبورنا روضة من رياض الجنة ولا تجعلها حفرة من حفر النار. اللهم أدخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على الحمد لله رب العالمين. قوموا إلى صلاتكم.